Getting right back to our telephone callers. Next up is Bob, listening in Hanson, Arkansas. Hi, Bob.
Hi, thanks for taking my call, Hank. My question is about the serpent in the Garden of Eden when he was communicating with Eve. My question is, what do you think the serpent looked like before it got changed into a snake? You know, he said, for your punishment on thy belly shall I crawl. And so I was just kind of wondering what it looked like, you know, before it got changed into a snake. I think it just looked similar, just with maybe two legs, or...
No. Look, you have to look at why the Bible describes Satan as a twisted serpent whom God alone can crush. The metaphor is pregnant with meaning. Let me cash that out for you, because the biblical imagery of the twisted serpent is a portrayal of Satan's fall. So once he held a privileged position in God's kingdom, but now he becomes even lower than the livestock. They have legs. He, however, crawls on his belly and eats dust. So those who know the Old Testament immediately recognize the metaphor. Micah, like Moses, uses the imagery of a serpent to depict nations seeking to thwart the purposes of God. They will lick dust like a snake, like creatures that crawl on the ground. So the idea here is that this is a metaphor. This is not what Satan looks like. It is what Satan is like. After all, Jesus Christ did not defeat principalities and powers of darkness by stepping on the head of a snake.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, I just appreciate your ministry, and sometimes I listen to, I travel, I'm a truck driver, and these preachers, they do. I don't know how the people listen to some of them, but I just appreciate you because you preach the truth. We also need to support ministries like you. We need to support you spiritually and financially, but I'd say if a lot of people send in just $25 a month, well, I guess that would help you out, wouldn't it? I mean, that's what I figure.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, what I've said many times in the broadcast is if people give on a monthly basis, it would supercharge the ministry. I don't know how else to put it. So thank you very much for your prayers and for your support. Deeply appreciated.
Okay, God bless you. Thank you, Hank. Bye-bye.
You got it. And remember that if we're going to read the Bible literally, it means that we read it as literature. And what that means, in turn, is that we are to interpret the Word of God just as we interpret other forms of communication in the most obvious and natural sense. So when Moses uses the symbolism of a snake, we would do violence to his intentions if we interpret him in a wooden, literal fashion. And here's why. A literalistic interpretation does as much violence to the biblical text as a spiritualized interpretation that empties the text of all objective meaning. If the historical Adam and Eve did not eat the forbidden fruit, if they didn't descend into a life of habitual sin resulting in death, there would be no need for redemption. If, on the other hand, Genesis was reduced to an allegory conveying merely abstract ideas about temptation, sin, and redemption, devoid of any correlation with actual events in history, the very foundation of Christianity would be destroyed. The prophet Moses describes Satan as an ancient serpent. The apostle John describes him as an ancient dragon. And again, as I mentioned earlier, they don't intend to tell us what Satan looks like. They want to teach us what Satan is like. Dragons, after all, are the stuff of mythology, not theology. So if we think of Satan as either a slithering snake or a fire-breathing dragon, we not only misunderstand the nature of fallen angels, but we might well suppose that Jesus triumphed over the work of the devil by stepping on the head of a snake rather than through his passion on the cross. So Eve was not deceived by a talking snake, as though snakes have vocal cords. Rather, Moses used the symbol of a snake to communicate the wiles of the evil one who deceived Eve through mind-to-mind communication precisely as he seeks to deceive you and I today. The ramifications of taking Satan and giving him creative power are draconian, to say the least. If, in fact, Satan can materialize, well, then he could have masqueraded as a resurrected Christ, and now you lose epistemic warrant for the central event in the Christian faith.